Hello everyone! Thank you so much for joining me. This is my first class of the year that I get to film outside. As you can tell, there's still some snow on the ground. It's still pretty early into spring, but the weather is perfect and I've just been dying to get outside, so here we are. Today I'm continuing my zodiac yoga series. This practice is focusing on the sign of Taurus. So Taurus is the second house. It is a fixed earth sign, and it really has to do with sensuality, the archetype of the lover, and the physical body as well as the physical world. So Taurus is a very grounded, fixed sign, very stable and rooted, but also has this beautiful, great capacity to be soft, slow, and sensuous. Taurus is very much concerned with solidifying and reaffirming their core values or its core values. And it has to do in sensuality in all of its senses. So of course, sensuality and sexuality, but also more the core meaning of the word, meaning tuning into all of the senses, really tuning into all of the pleasures of life. The empowerments of Taurus really relate to allowing abundance into our lives. Some of the shadow sides can revolve around possessiveness. So maybe holding on a little bit too much to material possessions or even to relationships, or an over-identification with the physical body. But again, on the flip side, when it's all in balance, it means someone who is really connected and in tune with their body, someone who feels and is able to create a life of pleasure, of love, of meaning, of fulfillment, someone who is able to stay grounded and stable. So a really lovely sign, and because this is like grounded and also slow, we are going to do a lot of grounding poses, and we're going to move super slowly. I want you to feel everything, super sensuous. And this is a beginner to intermediate practice, no props required. And with these practices, I like to have some affirmations in mind that we can work on or repeat to ourselves in order to really embody this zodiac sign of Taurus. So for this one, we're working with affirmations like, I allow abundance into my life. I love myself exactly as I am. And I am grounded and stable. So with that in mind, let's begin tabletop pose for a very slow cat and cow. And this connection to your physical body starts right now. Grounding into the earth, spreading the fingertips wide, and I want you to really feel every single little inch of your palm of your fingertips pressing into the floor. Same thing with your knees, your shins, the tops of your feet. And as you inhale, you can drop your belly, curl tailbone up, really slowly inhale, and try to feel how good this little back bend can feel. And as you exhale, round and contract, letting it go, stretching along your spine, and just keep going in and out through those two poses, slow and steady, while being stable and grounded. And you can close your eyes as you do this to connect a little bit deeper to your other senses. So what can you feel? What can you smell? What can you hear? Take 2 more cycles. Inhale. See if you can go even slower, really stretching out the breath. I love myself exactly as I am. I allow abundance into my life. I am grounded and stable. Come back to a neutral tabletop pose. Firm up through your core. We're going to do a really slow bird dog. So you're going to extend your left leg and right arm back. Big breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly draw that into the center, round and contract. Working on our stability a little bit more, but keeping it fluid. Just 2 more on this side. Inhale, find that length. Exhale, squeeze, pull it through. Last one, really slow. And back to our tabletop pose. We'll switch sides, find your alignment here on the other side. Right leg back, left arm forward, breathe in deeply. Exhale, gather into the center. Two more. And again here, you might play with closing your eyes. This is something I'll really be inviting you to do throughout our practice. Last one. And back, neutral tabletop pose. Walk your hands a couple inches past your shoulders, maybe widen your palms slightly. Our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Slow and steady as you curl your tailbone up towards the sky, maybe wag through the tail. Can you make this a little bit more slow and sensuous, focusing on the feeling, how good it feels to stretch, to breathe deeply. And you can ripple forward through to your plank pose, just lifting your heels, shifting your weight forward nice and slow. And you can bend your knees and bring your hips all the way up and back, downward dog. Just one more time like this. Inhale, forward and back. Let's extend our right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, open up your hip. So Taurus, being focused on the physical, your physical body, as well as the physical material world. So how do you relate to your possessions, to your resources, to money? Taurus can be a great manifester. And we can step our foot between the hands to the top of the mat. We'll come into our high lunge, so feet should be about hip width distance apart or so. Lift on up, and we're going to bring one hand on our belly and one hand on our heart, just to anchor this connection to the body again here. And if you're feeling stable, you can close your eyes. I have the sun in my eyes, so it's better for me to have my eyes closed anyway. I wanted to be outdoors for this practice so that you could hear the bird song. Taurus is really about finding pleasure in the natural world. Sink a little deeper. And we're going to step to the top of the mat. Keep your hands where they are, really connecting to your low belly, to your heart. And let's inhale, reach your arms up overhead, palms come together to touch. And as you fold forward, see if you can slide your hands and really touch your body, letting this be really sensuous, focusing on the feeling as you melt and fold down. And you can widen your feet a little bit, heels in, toes out, Malasana. Down into your squats. You can use your elbows to push your knees open, hands at the heart. So staying really grounded in our movements, but adding some softness to it so that we're not too stiff. I love myself exactly as I am. I allow abundance into my life. I am grounded and stable. Back into your downward facing dog. And I'm not going to be taking any vinyasas in this class. Of course, if you'd like to, if it feels good, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, I'm focusing on just feeling really good in this downward dog, getting the best stretch I possibly can, kind of giving myself permission to indulge a little bit. And we'll set ourselves up for the other side. So left leg can rise up. Big thigh stretch here. And we'll step that foot through nice and slow. Really try not to rush here. Feel every little micro movement. Take your time to rise up. And we'll be placing the opposite hand to the belly and the other one to your heart center. Maybe close your eyes if you're feeling balanced enough. Otherwise, just keep your gaze steady on something that is not moving. And Taurus is really asking you, what do you find pleasure in? What is your relationship with pleasure? And also really asking you, what are your core values? Stepping to the top of the mat, keep your hands where they are. Just maintain that deep connection to your body. And let's flow. Inhale, arms rise. And just slide your hands in any way down your body as you fold. Your knees can be generously bent. We're coming back into Malasana, heels in, toes out, bend your knees, drop your hips. Press your shoulders down and away from your ears. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And let's re-extend our right leg up once more. Bend your knee, open up your hip, get your knee to be really high. And we're setting ourselves up for pigeon pose, finding a really yummy hip opener. Slowly bring your right knee somewhere behind your right wrist. So I usually do a bit of a 90-degree angle with my hip here or with my knee. Please don't worry about that. You might have your heel really close in towards you. It's totally fine. One is not better than the other. It mainly has to do with your hip anatomy anyway. And just try to even out both sides of your hips so you have the weight evenly distributed here. And you can either stay up nice and tall, maybe finding what feels good to you. That could be a big juicy back bend as you lean back, or you might ease your way into a forward fold. This is the variation I'll be choosing. And we'll be here for a really slow and steady 5 deep breaths. So if you're folding forward, try to melt into the earth. And we're embodying the sign of Taurus, especially by not fidgeting. Stay stable, grounded, fixed, and anchored. The fluidity comes from our breath in this pose. One more big belly breath. Without rushing, we're going to ease our way back up. Downward dog once more, and maybe stretch out that right leg. Feeling the effects of that pose on your body. And whenever you're ready, we'll go do the same thing to the other side. So left leg will stretch up. You can bend your left knee, open up your hip. Pose, your left knee makes its way somewhere behind your left wrist. Figuring out the angle that works best for you with your left knee here. And you might hang out, cultivating a back bend, pushing your hands into the mat, leveling out through your hips. Or you can fold forward, whatever you did on the first side. So what are the empowerments of Taurus that you most need in your life right now? How connected do you feel to your sensuality? How healthy is your relationship with the physical world? One more big belly breath. Keep it flowing in and out through your nose. And you can push your hands into the mat to slowly rise on up. We're finding our final downward facing dog. Again, not rushing here. Stretching out. And we can bring our knees down to the mat, come to take a seat in any way that is comfortable to you. So I like to close these, or I'll close this practice just with a bit of a seated meditation. Close your eyes, rest your hands on your lap or on your knees. And once more, focusing on the senses, even with your eyes closed. What do you see through your eyelids or at the back of the eyelids? It might be colors and patterns. What can you smell when you breathe? What can you taste on your tongue? What do you hear? And how far are these sounds? And what do you feel on your skin? I love myself exactly as I am. I allow abundance into my life. I am grounded and stable. And join your hands together at your heart. Let's chant Om together one time. Please inhale to chant. Breathe in deep. Om. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this Taurus flow with me. I would love to know how this went for you, what you thought of this practice, and let me know if you have Taurus in your chart. Maybe it's your sun sign, your moon sign. Maybe you don't even know, and that's totally fine too. You can really just take these flows as inspirations and as metaphors and symbolism. You really don't have to take it super literally at all. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more zodiac flows right here on my channel.